All right, in this lesson, we're going to have some fun. We're going to attack a DHP server by using a tool in Kali Linux to illustrate some vulnerabilities that unsecured DHP services have on any enterprise network. Now, when I was in high school, I remember my friend bringing in this new hacker CD, okay? And we had messed around with different hacking things back then. And really, it was a lot of just education. It was learning. It wasn't really, we were trying to be malicious or anything like that. We were just learning about networking. And it was pretty cool to be able to use these, hacks to do different things we wanted to do, right? We were earning our stripes, so to speak. So the CD he brought in was one of the first renditions, at least that I discovered, of a hacker toolbox or a pen testing, kind of distribution. And it was not Kali, it was not Backtrack. This was a while ago, back in like 96, okay, or 95. And it was a tool called Phlak, P-H-L-A-K, Professional Hacker Linux Assault Kit. And it was pretty cool, man. It had like 10 or 15 scripts on it. I don't remember, I'll have to look it up. But it was nothing like the distributions we use today. Like Kali Linux has thousands of scripts and tools pre-installed on it. It's a rolling out OS update and all that kind of stuff. This was very, very simple. It all fit on one CD-ROM, and there was just a few attacks you could run easily, right? And you didn't even really have to know what you're doing. Nowadays, it's super, super easy to do this stuff. And we're just illustrating what happens unless you take precautions to secure the enterprise. We talked about it earlier, right? DOOR is the process, so discover, offer, request, acknowledge. And then Snoopy can be used, or snooping can be used to mitigate and say who can send out those offer and acknowledgement messages, right? So remember the DOOR process. And remember that clients start it by sending the discover, servers respond with an offer, clients send a request, and then servers respond back with an acknowledgement. But if I have a malicious client to just sit there and send request, DHP discovers over and over and over, okay, from different MAC addresses. Before you know it, I've taken all the IP addresses away from the network. And all I needed was basic network access. And here's the thing. Just by being a client on the network, I'm going to learn what IP address we're using, okay? Because I'm going to get one of those IP addresses. It's kind of a byproduct of using DHP is that you automatically assign addresses, right? I also learned the size of the scope. So I knew it was a /24. I knew there's 254 hosts, right? I knew the mask. We knew the gateway. He gave us gateway, gave us DNS, and all those other things you learned about domain. Well, because of that, I now know that I need to collect basically up to 250 hosts. So I just start sending thousands of DHP discover messages to the network and waiting for this server to become exhausted. And it's a DHP starvation or DHP exhaustion attack, okay? And that creates a denial of service. Because when the next station comes on and wants to use the network, okay, the next station boots up, he can't get a DHP address, okay? So it creates a denial of service attack. But it's also used as a prerequisite for what's called man-in-the-middle attacks, like we've mentioned earlier, okay? So it's also a prerequisite for man-in-the-middle attacks. Now, we're just going to show you starting off the denial of service attack in Kali. So let's go ahead and get over there and have some fun. So the first thing is we just went over a lab where we're using this service TFTP32 DHP server, and it really doesn't matter which one we use, although the more modern Windows servers have a little bit of protection in there to avoid this type of thing, but the point is still valid and there's still ways around it. So let's go ahead and jump over to our Kali Linux box. So our Kali Linux box has a network interface on the network there that the Windows servers are part of. And we're going to start a tool I'm pretty fond of. Let's go ahead and just grab a new terminal. And the tool I am fond of is called Yersinia. It's a well-known network pen testing tool. And it has several options for several protocols, in fact, not just DHCP. So this may be something you want to spend some time playing with after this class, because check it out, all the juicy protocols we can test. I'll just say test, right? So CDP, DHCP, .1Q, .1X, DTP, HSRP, ISL, MPLS, STP, VTP, all that kind of good stuff, right? So, but we're going to do the DHCP stuff right now. So let's go ahead and you can load your interfaces. And right now I have Ethernet 0 mapped to the same network, and the virtual network is the DHCP service we have running is on. So we're going to go ahead and just click over here to the DHP page. And this is where we'll see our messages come up along with how many packet counter there. And we could change some defaults there if we wanted to, but just for this example, we're going to keep it nice and easy. So we're going to go ahead and launch attack, and then you've got the options to choose which attack you're going to launch. So we're going to start off by doing the sending DHP discover packet, and you can see it's a DOS style attack. So we're going to go ahead and choose OK. And right away, man, 70,000 packets, 100,000 packets already sent. DHP discover messages going out there to the network trying to get IP addresses. So let's take a look at what's happening over on our DHP server. Well, what do you know? We're assigning IP addresses, okay? And already we've grabbed 18 of them. And if we leave this going just a little while, you'll notice that we take them all, okay? We completely deplete the DHP service. So if we come back over to Kali, you'll see the messages catch up here in a second, and you'll see that there's some responds back with this, right? So if we come over to the log, you can see that it's launched. But yeah, this is, give it no time at all, okay? And it will have all the IP addresses on there. As you can see, it's still counting, and that Windows service is still handing out those addresses. Okay, there's a lot of them. As a matter of fact, it's probably buffering, and whenever we stop the attack, it'll probably continue just going, right? So this is how that particular attack is done. We're going to go ahead and list the attacks that are running in place, and we're going to stop it because I think you get the point, okay? And just that easy, okay? We've overwhelmed the DHP service, and we've taken up 40 addresses probably once it's done refreshing everything. Probably more than that. As you see, it's like I said, it's going to continue going over and over to catch up. Okay, so there's 40, and it'll keep going even more. Who knows how many is already going to be assigned? It might be all of them, but that would leave no IP addresses for any new clients connecting, and that's the point of these DHCP denial of service attacks. So again, how can we mitigate that? This is where we rely on our enterprise access switches, and we enable that couple things, okay? So port security is one. Port security says we want no more than one MAC address per port on our switches. So that should be used. I don't care if you're using .1x and what other techniques. That's part of an overall security strategy. Also, DHP snooping, okay? We want to control which interfaces are allowed to send these DHCP offer and acknowledgement messages, because that's just what we need to do. If not, then we will have any person out there able to become a DHCP server on our network or take down our DHCP server on the network. We don't want either one of those things. So those two things are the big kind of mitigation strategies for DHCP attacks. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this lesson. It's a lot of fun. Try to repeat it whenever you can, and we'll see you in the next one.